Okay. Thank you, Dr. Barbara.
Very welcome. Grieving is unique to the individual. And I always say, as your fingerprint to you.
Mm,
You are the expert, not me. You
mm.
are the expert in your own grief.
Wow.
You are the one that tells us how you want to grieve. Now we
Mm,
tell you how to grieve because you know what's going on within you. We're here to go walk with you on the journey
mm, mm.
to witness as you go through.
My Lord, my Lord. I love that. That is so important. That is so important. One thing that I've noticed too, even at the very beginning when the grieving process first started, even before Mama passed, and the diagnosis was clear to me because I was living with Robert. He was partially okay when he talked to family and friends, but I knew what was going on. And the family, some of the family turned against me. They were very angry because he was relaying one bit of information that looked like it was clear and he was okay, and then not trusting what I was actually seeing and getting the reports from the doctor. That was another level of, you talk about trauma. That was another level of trauma that I had to work through. And there's so many different levels of grief. How do we, and I love that you said that we are, as an individual, determined how we grieve, and that those alongside of us can just walk through. Also letting a person, while they're grieving, letting them talk and letting them express instead of talking over them and shutting them down. Or when tears come, I don't, when tears come to me, just let me cry. Because a lot of times I don't know what I might not know in the moment what I'm crying for. And if I have somebody to say, oh, don't cry, just, it's going to be okay. It's not. It's not okay right now because the tears are coming, and tears are a way to release. Please talk about that.
So that's interesting that you say that because um, I always think people are genuinely, they genuinely mean well. It's not like they are actually saying it because they want to hurt your feelings, but we're fixers and we always want to fix. We believe that it's it's okay for us to fix the next person, especially in grief, because
Yeah.
we don't want them to go through the pain. Pain is normal in grief.
Wow. Wow.
Pain
Mm.
is just like we were talking about the wound. Pain is a natural part of grieving.
Wow. That's good.
So allow a person, and what I would say is allow a person to the dignity of
Mm.
grieving their loved one, the
Wow.
dignity of grieving their loved ones.
Mm. I like that.
So it's like and like you said, you're crying, and somebody said, "Oh, don't cry. It's gonna be all right. Don't," because that's what we're taught to do in helping others when they're going through grief. And Robert would not want to see you cry, or your mama would not want to see you cry because they want to see you happy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not crying because you're so devastated or whatever, but you're crying because that's the language that
Mm.
grief speak.
My Lord, that's the language that grief speaks. Wow. I love that.
And also, when you cry, it allows, it's like tears to me, I always say, it's like purifying the soul.
Mm. Mm.
The Bible said,
Mhm.
there's somewhere it says, tear is a language that God understands.
Yes.
Because if you think about it seriously, when something is happening and you try to suppress it, you feel like crying, but you don't want nobody to see you cry, so you try.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you're having a heart attack. You're
Mm.
putting so
Mm.
much pressure on your system
Wow.
that it's like you put in your system in a vice that is
Mm.
literally becoming constricted, and it causes more pain. It literally builds up. It's like a socket being
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
overloaded. If you're not
Oh,
careful, it will cause
wow.
the breaker to chip. To trip
Wow.
out. It caused the breaker to trip out. So when you allow the current to flow, there's
Mm.
no backfiring of that breaker
My Lord.
because it's flowing. And that's what grieving does. You allow it to flow to get to the place
Mm-hmm.
where you need to go, that place of healing, that
My
place
Lord.
of acceptance, that place where you find meaning. And
Mm.
finding meaning doesn't mean that, and there's the different stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, nobody goes, it's not a linear process where you go through first denial and the five stages. It's not a linear process. You can be in denial at this moment, and the next minute you are in acceptance, or you're in acceptance, and then you end up in denial, you end up in bargaining, or you end up in uh, you, you can be at any place at any time. Even after grieving
Wow.
for a year or so, you can find
Wow.
yourself end up in a place of denial where you say, no, no, no.
Mm. 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 Mm.
And at the same time, you can be saying to yourself, why did Robert leave me?
Mm.
Why did he do this to me? So now you start even blaming him for leaving and gone, knowing that he was your support. He was your best friend. You see what I'm saying?
And
Why
yeah.
did he have to leave me? Why did he put me through this?
My mentor, we just did another interview, and my mentor said that her family noticed that she was grieving or that she was angry. And she didn't realize that it was angry because of the grieving process until her daughter asked her, so you're angry at your husband for deliberately getting sick and getting Alzheimer's and dying. We don't realize that. Wow.
Yes,
That's
yes.
powerful. Please
Yes,
continue.
so you go through that stage, the anger, the denial, the bargaining, the acceptance, the whole process, and until you realize. But finding meaning, because sometimes what happens
Hmm.
is that people just want to find meaning, and as you think through, because I know this, you may be doing a lot of thinking. Why did this have to happen now? What
Hmm.
happened? Why that caused this?
Hmm.
Okay, what? How come I didn't pick it up before? And
Hmm.
if I picked it up, what could I have done to have helped to delay the process? You're thinking to
Hmm.
find
Hmm.
meaning into what's happening, and sometimes
Yeah.
we rush into finding meaning without
Wow.
grieving because we do not want to go through the process of grief.
We want to avoid the pain.
We want to
Wow.
avoid the pain.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
you
Wow.
allow yourself to jump into meaning, and then believe me, you can be in this place stuck
Mm.
for years before, because
Mm.
you said for 1 year before you went back to mama's house. And that's when you allow yourself to cry. You allow yourself to grieve. Prior to that, you were in a place, you were literally even say, I would say, stuck in that place of grief where mama is concerned.
Hmm. Yeah. The screen froze for just a few moments,
Yes.
but you said,
What? Oh, you were did not hear me?
I didn't hear everything you said. You said you get
Tell me
stuck
what
for that 1
Roxanne.
year. I heard you say, I was stuck for that 1 year and at the very point.
Yes,
And
so I was saying that um for even with Mama for 1 year, you
mm-hmm,
were at that place where you did not go back to her home and
mm-hmm,
even allow yourself to grieve.
mm-hmm. Wow.
And
Mm-hmm,
at the same time too, another thing is sometimes people say, oh, get rid of this stuff, get rid of the clothes, get rid of stuff, and you will feel better. And not, no, when you are comfortable to do that, you do that.
yes.
You do that when you feel comfortable, when you it's okay with you. If you want to keep Robert close for as long as ever, to until you feel like getting rid of them, it's up to you. If you
Mm-hmm,
feel that getting rid of them now would make me help with the process, you do that. It's not
mm-hmm,
by anybody's decision. It's your decision, and it's
mm-hmm.
based on what your heart is saying and how you feel.
Wow. That's good.
Because you don't want to say, oh, I'm going to get rid of them so I forget about all these things. I don't want to have this memory.
Mm-hmm.
The memory is going to be there.
Memories. And sometimes the memories are the most comforting
The
memories.
memories are the most comforting.
And the
The
pain.
other thing is being able to do things write letters.
Mhm.
If this is how you usually communicate with Robert, even Mama, if you usually be calling Mama and talking to her and say, Mama, this is what happened, and share your day with her, write it,
Yeah.
journal it, get a
Wow.
journal and start telling her the things.
Wow. That is awesome. We're going to pause here for one more
Yes.
second for the next segment. That's great. We're going to pick up in just a few moments.